Greetings and welcome to another LarpCraft how-to video. This is for the Myths and Legends system. We're going to talk about armor. In this armor video, we're going to go through the different types of armor and what counts as a hit. Right now, Manit has on a leather chest piece that's painted white, and he would have on the torso piece that would count him as 5 points of armor. Ronan has on a medium chest piece, which counts him at 10 points of armor. I don't have any armor on, so I wouldn't actually get any points of armor because it's based off of your torso. A Gambison does not count as any armor. What you see is what you get in LarpCraft. So if you hit the torso piece, if I would hit Manit, he'd be able to call armor. He would do that by either saying armor or grunting or doing something that acknowledges the hit. He has to keep track of that. Ronan has a lot more protection. Chainmail has really blossomed in Myths and Legends, where it's probably the most popular armor. And that's because he has full range of motion with this chain, and it actually protects even further down from his waist. So if I hit him here, he can call armor, but if he doesn't have anything on and he's just fighting in what he sees right now, if I hit him here, he's still going to take the hit. So folks who actually do combat can strategically place their shots, which makes it a lot more real and makes the battles very strategic. If I were to use the waylay ability on Manit, if I pretended to hit him in the head with the back of my weapon, he would fall down and be knocked out. If I tried that with Ronan, he wouldn't be knocked out because he's got a helm on. All helms protect against waylay. Now let's go through the different areas of the body that count for armor. You have your helm, your head, which can be any type of leather or mail or plate, which is what Ronan has on here. Then you have your torso piece, which Manit and Ronan both have on, which just basically counts front and back your area here. Now, for those of you who have like a plate front and a leather back, to count the main torso piece, it has to be, I think it's 75% of the material, right? 50% of the material. So you can still have a leather back as long as you have 50% of it with a torso piece that is plate. You would still count as plate. The shoulders, the shoulder areas, upper shoulder, right into the collarbone is one of the main areas. Then you have your upper arm, which would be right here, counting where Ronan has that on. Then you have your lower arm, which is right here, and then you have your hand. After your torso piece, then you have your belt area, and you have to have a belt that's is it 6 or 8 inches?
6.
So it has to be pretty large to be counted as a belt area, and that can go all the way around. And then you have your upper legs. Ronan's upper legs are protected, Manit's are not. So you have this area right here, which is also where your tassets usually are, that protect that area. Then just on the bottom part of the knee, where he has his greaves on, this is the lower leg. And these are all the armor achievements that you can get. And then you have your feet, which is typically where you're going to have your reinforced leathers, your sabatons, your basically anything that's heavy leather will count as foot armor. A regular boot a lot of times will not count as foot armor in most colonies. You have to have something on top of it, and it's really simple to do. All you got to do is get a few pieces of 8 or 10 ounce leather, strap them on, and you got it. So
that's one of the things that he was speaking about earlier as chainmail really blossoming in this system. As you can see, just by having a chainmail rubric that I have on right now, or a chainmail shirt, I have several sections that are already covered just by one piece of armor.
Right. But in order for him to wear this armor, he would actually have to have the torso, the belt, upper leg, shoulder, and upper arm. He would have to have those proficiencies in order to actually wear this piece, because it does cover such a large area. A lot of times you can get the chainmail shirts which just cover the torso, so that's all you would need. With the 2014 edition and beyond for Myths and Legends, it's actually a lot less expensive to get armors than you think for most of your fighter classes. So it's not as big of a deal as it used to be, where you only had 5 different achievements. Now there's a lot of ways to level up with armor, and you can actually cross-class. I mean, there's you know, rangers and even mages, they can get armor as well. So it's just more expensive for those who aren't designed as fighters.
Now, some of you may have a question about whether or not adding things onto chainmail will increase your armor points. That only happens if you wear something on top of the chainmail as your torso piece. As you can see, I have added pauldrons and a gorget to this set of chainmail. Now, but even by doing this, it doesn't grant me any extra armor points, simply because my torso is also not being covered by another piece of armor. And it always goes by your torso. So even having this chainmail suit on, by adding plate armor to my shoulders, my upper arms, my waist, anything along with that, your chest piece is all that matters when it comes to adding extra armor points. Now in this section, you can see that I've added a torso covering of plate armor. Now what this does is, because in the Myth and Legends system, in the new armor system, it goes by the heaviest piece of torso armor that you're wearing. So in this case, I would have 15 armor points, but I also have my chainmail on underneath it. So that would give me a bonus of +2 for a total of 17 armor points. Now again, our armor system is global, but it's a local hit. So even though I'm not wearing armor here, if I get hit in the arm where I'm not wearing armor, I'm still going to lose the arm no matter how much torso coverage I have.
Okay, so in this example we have, like, I'm dressed up kind of like a mage with an arming jacket on. Whatever. It's cold. It's cold.
And it doesn't count anyway.
Right. The mage can have, well, you can have single pieces of armor on your body, but it'll only count as 1 point regardless of anything, because I don't have a chest piece on. So if I don't have a chest piece on, it'll just count as 1 point no matter what. This is my gloves with my gauntlets. The gauntlets would need lower arm, and my hands would obviously need hand. So I would need those two achievements in order to wear these gauntlets. And a common question that people have is, can I wear my armor and not count it? And because our system is so what you see is what you get, we don't really allow that in almost any situation, because
it would get very confusing for people. If you're walking up and you have a full suit of armor on, but you don't have the proficiency to use it, the other person doesn't know that.
Right. And so if, let's say I was walking up as just a, you know, I got 7 mana, I'm a medium level spellcaster, and I come up and I see him, he's fully armored, he's walking down the trail, I can judge, I'm like, okay, I got to get through 15 points of armor. I can judge fighting is probably not a good way to go, or I'm going to have to bust out some spells and it would still be very tough. If that didn't count and I just walked away and then I got told, oh, yeah, his armor doesn't count, well, that would make me pretty darn upset, because now I could have engaged and possibly beat him. So we don't want that to happen. We're trying to keep the rules and the system all the same in that regard, so you can really use immersion to its highest ability.
Yeah, just by looking at somebody, you should be able to know what generally to expect armor-wise from them.
Right. If you have any questions about this or anything else about armor or how our system works, jump into the scrolls, you know, communicate with the community, and elders, guardians, overlords, or even just players can help you out. This has been Artenin.
This is Ronan. The Minute.
We'll see you in the games.
Keldor the Great. Yeah. Cardor the Mighty.
Hello.
Infinite Kelgon's Justice.
Have you found anything?